Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's August 7th. I was hoping to do an update a little sooner here this summer, but we kind of had a busy year here. Cheryl had shoulder surgery, which kind of slowed us down, definitely slowed Cheryl down getting stuff done, and I had to pick up some chores that she would normally do, so kind of took up all our time. I'm getting out today to get some batteries and a camera in the back corner of our property. I want to get these batteries in because I don't want to disturb this again. It's a cell camera, so I won't have to come back out here until after rifle season in the late winter here. So we got a few things done over the summer. We put up a new stand. You can see in the background here. We built these wintertime, I think in February this year. We built two of these. We got them on platforms and got them up 2 weeks ago, so we got that done. And I put a licking branch on the intersecting trails just off this stand location. So today I'm grabbing a camera and moving it to overlook that licking branch, see what kind of activity we have on it over the next month. And while I'm out here, I'll hit a few other spots. I know I wanted to do an update on the clover plot where we frost seeded this spring, and then our alfalfa that we broadcast and cultipacked, and then our corn plantings. We had sweet corn and field corn we planted with that new IH planter. I shouldn't say new to me, used planter. It worked out pretty good, so I'll show you some of that stuff. But right now we'll get grab this camera and get new batteries in it. So this is a new licking branch I put up 2 weeks ago, I believe. It's a jack pine limb. I just got a rope across the trail here. It's actually 3 trails. There's a trail coming from that direction. There's a trail coming from this direction over here, and then there's a trail that goes right by the stand, about 20 yards on the edge of the stand there. And then the trail we walked in on all come together here. So there's already some deer tracks in it, just in a couple weeks time here. So I have the camera up further in here, so we'll go get that, bring it back to this location. Okay, I got the camera off the tree. I don't have a tripod with me, so it's a little difficult to film and do stuff at the same time, but I did get the camera off the tree and we'll move it here. I got an old bow stand. I haven't sat there for a few years now, but I think you can kind of see it up in that spruce tree there. It's about 25 feet up. Always been quite a few deer coming through this area in the past. It's a pretty heavy trail. It comes right by the tree here, but I noticed all the limbs are dying out all the way to the split up top, so I just don't know. I'm going to probably have to get up there and get that stand out of there, because that tree looks like it's given up on me there. But we'll get this camera up here. Okay, I got the camera up. Licking branch is here, and you can see, kind of see the cameras on that tree right there, about 7 feet up off the ground. It's far enough away. One thing I noticed, if you put it right on top of the licking branch so you can get all these great pictures, all the deer see the camera and then you stop getting pictures. So you don't want your camera too close to the licking branch. It's going to be self-defeating for you. We'll get out of here. This will be it. Like I said, we're not coming back in here until we're ready to hunt. Everything's ready here. The stand right over here. You can see it through the trees, but it's about 25, 30 yards maybe from there. This trail sweeps right by it over here. That's a 15-yard shot from that box stand. I will probably bull hunt out of here a little bit in the late season. We'll see how things go, if they're still bedding in this area or not. Well, we'll head over, and next thing we'll do is check out the frost seeding that we did this spring. I wanted to do an update on that. I didn't get back to it, so I'd like to get out there and show you guys what's going on with that. Okay, we're in the first plot that I frost seeded back in April. I think it was probably April 15th, somewhere in there. This is the it's like 7 or 8 types of clover mix I got from Greenwald Elevator on our way back from turkey hunting in Nebraska. So as you can see, the plot looks really good. There's a lot of different types of clover. You can see there's some real low-growing clovers, and then some taller, more broad-leafed clovers in this plot. One thing I want to talk about a little bit is I came in here, it's about mid-June. A lot of grass and a lot of weeds started coming up in here. There's so many shrubs and everything along the edge. A lot of seed in the seed bank here. Weeds and stuff. So I brought my tractor and brush mower back here in mid-June and it knocked all that competing stuff down back in June, and you can see the clover just looks beautiful now. It's really grown in nicely, and it's been dry. I mean, we had the same drought period that everyone else did. It was a good month or so of just super dry, hot weather. Never got a drop of rain. Then I suppose 2 weeks ago was the last of the big rains we had. We got, I think, 4 inches total of rain over a few weeks. Kind of brought everything back to life. But you can see the frost seeding worked really well. I'm pretty impressed with how it came in all through this whole plot. So I think I'll probably stay out of here. There's no reason to do anything with this plot. It's growing fine. The deer are browsing on it a little bit, keeping it mowed down a bit. This will be fine right through the season here. We'll go on the other side of the stand. There's a lane that goes to the south here. There's another spot that I frost seeded in the spring, same time as this one. This soil is a little bit more clay base. The other one's more of a sandy loam and kind of a lower, wetter area. And that one did a lot better, so we'll head over there. I'll show you that one. So again, this is another frost seeded plot. It's just a small strip here. You can see it's not, I don't know, it's maybe 20 yards long by 10 yards wide. But the soil, a lot more moisture. You can see the clover, it's a lot taller here. It really grew well here in this little bit more moist soil, like I said. Both these plots were brassica plots last year. So there was not a lot of weed competition, a lot of bare dirt. I just came in here, broadcast the clover seed mix over top of the, there was some snow on the ground at that time, a little bit left there, but these plots, I've had these little plots probably 7 years, alternating these back and forth. Clover, brassica, sometimes some peas, things like that. The frost seeding works well as long as you get enough moisture to get the seed germinated in the spring. And it's got to be, you got to have enough wet weather for it to get established. But if you get that, you get a beautiful stand of clover. So we'll head out to the big field, give you a little update on the alfalfa and sweet corn and field corn. Okay, so we're out in the cornfield. As you can see, the corn's doing really well. I hadn't done much with it. I think this is Roundup Ready field corn that I planted when the corn was probably 6-8 inches high. I did one application out here and knocked the weeds back and didn't do anything after that. And most of this corn, some of it's got to be 10 feet high. I mean, it really took off. We've had a lot of heat. It's been in the 80s during the day, so this corn has really grown quite well. Something I didn't realize is that planter, I'm probably going to change the gears on it next year, because the plantings are pretty close together. They're only 2-3 inches apart here. And just talking with some other guys that kind of said, you know, they're going to compete for all the nutrients because they're planted so close together, and may reduce the yield. So we'll see what happens. I mean, a lot of them have two cobs growing on them already, and they're starting to tassel. And you can see that there's going to be a lot of field corn here. If you have the means to do it, up here, we're way up northern Minnesota, this is the way to go. Most of the time by rifle season, the ground is frozen. Anything like turnips or anything like that is froze out. So there's not a lot of attraction there, where this field corn, these cobs and stalks and everything, the deer are going to eat them late into the winter. So for up here, if you can get corn in the ground, you're doing a good thing. We planted some pumpkins in the back here, but I should have had them more out front because they're not getting the sun they should. But they're growing, but I don't know if they're gonna grow enough to produce any pumpkins or not here. We'll take a look. Looks like I got a few coming on the vine here, but we'll see how they do. You can see they're kind of right along the back of this corn. There's a small one growing down there. And these other plants a little bit bigger and starting to vine out, but like I said, my mistake here is definitely I should have had them out front where they could get in the sunshine. All these corn stalks are really blocking the sun here. So these are I think like a mammoth pumpkin. I planted these last year out front, and the deer just devoured them about late September, right at the start of the bow season. They were out every night and just pounded through them. So they are a good attractant for early season, but they won't last long. The deer really love them. We'll take a little walk here. I want to get back out in the alfalfa here. In the earlier video, Cheryl cultipacked while I spread alfalfa seed in the main field here. So we'll go out and take a look at that. It did really well, so I'm pretty happy with it. One thing I like to do is, in the alfalfa, there's a lot of bare ground once you mow alfalfa down. So I haven't, in the forecast, there's not rain this week, but they're talking maybe rain towards the weekend. So if we can get a rain here, it's already August 7th, so I'm kind of running out of days to grow any kind of brassica to get it big enough to be significant as far as holding deer at all. So we'll see how it goes, but what I generally like to do with the alfalfa is broadcast brassicas into it, or this year, because it's so late in the year, I might do buck forage oats because they'll come up and grow a lot faster. But we'll get out here and take a look here. This alfalfa really looks nice here. Obviously a lot more moisture in the soil over here. I got a few yellow spots out there, but it's not bad. It came in pretty good, and the grasshoppers have been a problem the last few years, but they haven't really got on this year, so that's also a plus. We can see down in the soil here, there's a lot of open ground. So what I've done in the past with these alfalfa plots, and this will keep this alfalfa going year after year, plus give you season food as well. I did buy Real World Deadly Dozen. I was gonna put that out here this year, which I might yet if it looks like we'll get some rain, but I like to broadcast it. I got a little broadcast hopper that goes on a leaf blower, and you can blow the seed right out into this area. Then I'll put my brush mower on and I'll just mow this alfalfa down to like 2 inches high, and that'll cover all that seed, a little bit of moisture, and all those brassicas or oats, whatever you plant, will come up in this, and it'll be good hunting season food for the deer. Then in the spring, your alfalfa will come right through those brassicas, and everything will be out of the plot by then, winter killed, and you'll have a nice standard alfalfa again in the spring. So that's what I like to do. I think I have that blower in the back of the side-by-side. I'll grab it because I want to get the brand of it, because the little hopper I bought really works great. If you don't have one, just get one, especially like small seed clover and stuff for like overseeding. It really works well. Other than that, we'll see what this corn does. I'm hoping I get some good yields out of it, and it definitely grew well. As far as the stalks, they're plenty tall. So it's the Extreme Blower Spreader XD is the one I got. I bought it online. I think you could just Google it. You should be able to find it. But it mounts on just about any blower. I put it on my Milwaukee leaf blower. It works great. I mean, it's got a hopper, a funnel for putting the seed in. Fill the hopper up. It's got a gate valve, little valve here. You can control with your hand while you're blowing the seed around. For overseeding, you can't beat it. So if you don't have one, I would recommend getting one. One more little update here. Cheryl and I spent quite a bit of time fencing in an area to plant plum trees. And I took a look at it a couple weeks ago. It was doing all right. But the deer did jump this fence, even though it's 4.5 feet tall in most places. On the other end, they jumped the fence a couple spots and got in here and did some browsing on some of our trees. So I'm hoping they didn't get our plum trees. I was hopeful to have a little orchard in there and create a little bit of a forest area to block the view from the road. One problem we have here is the road goes right by this big field. So we get a lot of people that slow down and spook deer off the field. So it would be nice to, at some point, let all this stuff grow up to the point where you can't see out here from the road. But I think that's about it for the updates here. I got one more spot to go. Sweet corn. I got that patch there. I wanted to show you that, so I'll head over there and show you that sweet corn patch. Okay, we're at the sweet corn patch. I've done this a few years in a row, tried to get sweet corn to grow, and not a lot of luck planting it by hand. Now this I planted with the planter behind the tractor. This is, I think, peaches and cream sweet corn seed, or sweet corn. It did pretty well. You can see on the ends, not quite as well, but there are cobs on all these. They're starting to grow cobs, so I'm pretty happy with it. This was, if you're ever going to do sweet corn, the weeding is super intense. I spent every night picking weeds for the first 5 weeks. I had to come out here every night or every other night and pick the new weeds that came up. You can even see after all that picking the weeds, anywhere they could get some sun, more weeds. So a lot of work to keep up with the sweet corn, but it appears that we're going to get a pretty good harvest out of it. So I'm happy about how it turned out. You can see in here a lot of cobs just starting to fill out here, so I'm pretty hopeful we'll get a good harvest. Again, all we did was fertilize this one time. I think the day I planted, I put some triple 19 granular fertilizer down, and then planted into it. Other than that, didn't fertilize it at all. And I think I brought a tank, like a 500-gallon tank of water out here to water during that drought period, to try to keep it going, and it did really well. So we'll see, give it another few weeks here, and I think we'll be ready to pull some corn off of it. So I'll give you a follow-up on that. Other than that, I got a little project I've been working on, so I said if you hung on for the whole video, I'd show you what we're up to. But I've been working on a little project in the yard. I'll take you over there and show you what I've been working on over there. Okay, we're back at the house here. Like I said, it's been a busy summer. With Cheryl having surgery, doing physical therapy now. Everything we do here, we do together, so not having her around was tough. It slowed us down quite a bit. I usually have her there to inspire me to keep going on things and move me along and keep me organized. So not having her out here kind of slowed me down, but she's getting back in the game now and doing better, so I'm happy about that. This is the last project here that we are been working on this summer. Last winter, if you saw our other video on our Woodland Mills 130 Max sawmill, I cut a bunch of lumber, jack pine. We pulled down a bunch of jack pine that was dried out, standing dead, and cut lumber. So we are building a new garage on our property. We have an old rickety garage that was here on the property when we built the house, and we wanted something new that we could park in the winter time and everything, and build a little shop in where we can do canning and things like that. So over the last few weeks, I formed up a slab and had a company come in and pour it and finish it. And this last week here, I've got the walls all framed up with the lumber that I cut this last winter. So we're almost there. I got 3 walls up. I got the front walls with the garage doors, and then a divider wall. We're going to have a small shop area where we're going to do our canning and things like that at some point when we get that all set up. So that's what we've been up to. Sorry again that I didn't get a quicker update on the food plots and the frosting and everything, but we've been pretty busy, so I had time today to get out and do it, so I want to get out and get it done here. Stick around. We'll be doing some more videos here now that Cheryl's up and going again. She does all the editing of our videos, and so she'll be back to doing that, and we'll get some more videos out. Till next time, keep on living the good life.